and just ping me when we're on. All right. Welcome everyone to the Being in Art School panel. I have with us today four amazing students in four different schools that I don't know if I'm going to call amazing. I'll let them decide that for themselves. Um, but we're here today with, again, four awesome students all doing different things. And we're going to start off with them sharing a bit about who they are, what they're majoring in, and what school they're at. So I know that all of you guys are nervous right now. So first of all, before we even get to introducing them, let's first again once more just put some hearts in the chat for them. Some more love. This is their first panel, you guys. It's their first one. It's their first panel. So make sure you're giving them lots of love and support. It's their very first time doing something that's big for us. So let's make sure we give them all the love and support. But all right, we're gonna start it off, and yes, I'm gonna have to pick on you guys because that's just how it's gonna be. So I'm going to go eeny meeny miny mo in my head, and I'm doing it really fast right now as I'm talking because y'all know I know how to multitask, and it landed on Kayla. So Kayla, Kayla, you will be going first. So please, Kayla, share a bit of us of who you are. Tell us your name, how you identify, what year you're in, and what major you're in, and what school.
Okay. Hey, my name is Kayla Newberry. I go by she, her. I am a junior right now at Moore College of Art and Design, and I'm currently majoring in animation and game art.
Yay! And now we're gonna keep it moving. Now, Trace, hit us up.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Trace Nadal. I go by any pronouns, pretty much, and I'm a junior at the Rhode Island School of Design, and I major in illustration.
Love it. Rose!
OMG. Hi, my name is Rose. I also go by any pronouns, and I am a senior at the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York, and I major in illustration, and it's my last semester.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, almost out. Almost out.
I'm living on a prayer, baby.
And then last but not least, it's Key.
Hi. Okay, I'm Key. My pronouns are they, them. I am not me blinking. Okay. Anyways, I'm Key, pronouns they, them. I go to the School of Art and Art History at the University of Florida, not an art school. It's a public university. And I am studying art and technology, and I'm also in my senior year, kind of freaking out, but it's okay.
But yes, thank you guys again so much for agreeing to be on this panel. Not that I think you guys would have told me no in the first place because you just love me so much. But yeah, so once again, these guys are all taking either some form of art major while either attending art school or some other form of school that provides an art criteria for them. So we're going to talk a little bit about their experiences that they're still currently going through. So during our past panels and speakers, we've had other people talk about how it's like out of art school already or out of those classes involving art. Now we're going to hear about how it's going currently still in the process before they even get their diplomas. So before we even get into all that, though, we're going to start off the question with what made you guys decide to even go to school for art? And I'm going to randomly pick a person again, and this time we're going to start with Trace.
So, I've always liked art, but it really wasn't like my career pursuit until I think about like senior year of high school, where I found like other art school kids or kids who wanted to go to art school. And just for like prior knowledge, I came from an athletic school in the South, so this is like the furthest thing from what I was planning on doing. But I met like some industry folk, and they said that going to art school would be like the best way to get into the industry. And so I was like, well, if that's the way, college was a necessity anyways.
All right, Key.
Oh, me? All right. So honestly, I chose art school because I wasn't sure about what else I could do at the time. I was very interested in marine biology, but high school, the math wasn't mathin'. I did not pass algebra 2. Didn't work out. So you need like higher level math and sciences for that. I didn't exactly make the cut, and art for me is like my main thing. I knew it was something I wanted to do for a very long time. I want to be in 2D animation, somewhere in that industry. And yeah, art school. I just came here because I had to go to college also. Mom would not let me just sit at home and do nothing.
Okay, okay, okay. Not the math, literally not math, and no, I felt that in my soul. Oh my god. Rose?
Okay. So I in high school I ended up going to like a vocational school for art, and I was like, maybe I do want to go to art school, maybe I don't. And then like I was so indecisive about it that I ended up taking like a tour to like an art school one time, and I was like, maybe I should start applying to art schools. And at that time it was like December, and that's when all of them start to close up. So long story short, I like applied to like so many different colleges, and now I'm here in art school.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, okay. And then last but not least, Kayla.
Hi. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to go to art school was because I've always liked art. It was always something that I enjoyed doing, and it was the only thing that I thought I really, really wanted to do as a career. But I wasn't sure like what path of art I wanted to take until I found out about like early development art for animation, like visual development and like early character design work. And that's when I actually started applying. Fun fact, I only actually applied to one school. I only applied to more because I thought that I wouldn't be able to get into my other like schools that I wanted to go to. And I was just like art was just something I really connected with. I'm not very good at math or sciences or anything like that.
Okay, okay. So I'm seeing a lot of like, like you chose art school because you felt like that would be the best benefit for you. Some of you guys are just like your parents wouldn't have it any other way. Some of you guys are like, I was at like, the last minute and I had to just pick something. A lot of these are feeling very relatable. I feel like to a lot of people already just being like, dang, I don't know what else to do. Guess I'll draw for the rest of my life. That's fine.
It do be like that sometimes.
They really do be like that
It
sometimes. And you know
is.
what? Completely understandable. But definitely, definitely interesting choices for all of you. Kayla, actually, the both of us, both went to Moore in the exact same major. So that's something that is a very interesting fact that Kayla and I both went to Moore College of Art and Design, in the animation and game arts program. However, it has definitely evolved. We'd say since I have graduated back in 2019, it's now 2022. So man, I felt really old saying that. Good God. Jesus. So, anyways, we're gonna keep it moving because I don't want to keep feeling old. um, so y'all chose to continue to do the arts, but let's think about like, say for example, if you felt like you want to do something different, like, do you feel like if you would have just went to a standard school, um, how do you think that may have changed your directory right now? Like, do you think that would have changed what you would want your career to be, instead of going to a creative school? Like, do you think it would definitely have its changes? And this time first, we're gonna have Rose go. It's a kind of a loaded question a little bit, but do you think that going to a creative school versus a standard school essentially just has its benefits on your career right now?
I have to say it has some benefits. It has a few benefits, and that's mostly just like connections. Because like um I'm graduating now, and it's like I really, if I had went to like my local community college, I wouldn't have known the people I know now at like an art school. And these people have like other connections. Like my friends have like connections in the game industry, and some people have these connections in the art industry, and it's really cool and to just meet all of these people and to just actually be friends with them and like go out to eat with them. And but I wouldn't say it has like like besides the connections, it feels for my personal experience for FIT is like they had me do a whole bunch of general ed like classes along with my my major classes. So it was more like it felt like school, and then like half of it was school and then the other half was like art school. So it was like a weird kind of mix because FIT is a part of it's part of the SUNY State like college whatever. And so basically it's like you have to be forced to take some of these gen eds or else you don't graduate. So I felt like I got that weird balance mix. I don't know how it is for my other besties, but yeah, it was. I think honestly, the connections is really what drives you to like go to art school. Like for me, like yes, did I improve like a lot? Yes. I can't stress that enough. It does push you in a way that like I wouldn't be pushed otherwise, but the connections you make in like college in like art school is really different than it does in like standard school, but I don't know. That's me coming from FIT.
Okay, okay. What about you, Kayla? How do you feel? Well, how do you feel art school has benefited you more, or if it may not have benefited you more if you just went to like a standard college?
Yeah, I always like thought about that too. I feel like if I went to like a standard college, I would always be thinking about what if I went to art school, you know? Because art was always something I was super passionate about. I think art school had a lot of benefits when it comes to like honing your craft and improving yourself and your skills, as well as a lot of like social aspects for it. And like my school is like on the smaller side, so it's a little bit harder to fit in with like groups that were already established within the school rather than like it would probably be different at like a regular standard non-creative art school. Um I don't know. I don't really see I don't ever see myself or I can't see myself at a standard school pursuing something entirely different because like my heart is so like set on art as a career and as a like as something it's so personal to me, you know?
Definitely, yeah, definitely. What about you, Key?
Um, for me, I kind of get the best of both worlds because going to the University of Florida, it's like that's a public university, and then I'm here in the tiny section, like the four buildings of the School of Art and Art History. So I see how like students are in regular like standard school, like over there, like the psych majors and like physics people, maths, whatever, that stuff. They're over there. But here being in like such a small area, it feels like you get a very personal connection with the people you're around because my art school only has 400 people, 300 if we take out the grad students. So really the people who show up in your major and the people you have in your classes are the same people you will see constantly throughout like the same 4 years. There's no way that you can get away from them. Like they become your friend no matter what. So it kind of just like you get that sense of community by being in like an actual space with other artists that you wouldn't get if you were like outside of the art school essentially. Because I feel like growing up on the internet, like learning how to draw from the internet, it was really hard to like realize that there are other people around me because, you know, when you're on the internet, they're not really there. They're not like physically next to you. But when you have a studio space and when you have these art spaces, it actually feels you actually can see everyone's growth and development and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay. Definitely. So you definitely got like a best of both worlds, quite literally.
Yeah.
You got to see both sides like in person and a bit virtually. Okay.
We get the gators crawling around every once in a while. I don't know if you know, every once in a while you'll see something in the pond.
That's
Maybe a
Florida for
raccoon.
you, huh?
Yeah.
No chance you go on ahead.
Okay, so being at RISD, it's a private art institution, and we're only near artists, besides like seeing the Brown students. And if I were to say, if I went to like a regular like non-creative institution, I think the ease of access to like a big critique space would be the biggest issue, because usually when you're like hanging around with folk who don't really are who are not like into the arts, they can't give you the best opinions. They can't give you like that big critique or like say this is how you could improve this and everything. They'll look at it at face value and be like, oh, this is a nice space, pretty colors, you know. And but I don't think that should like hold anybody back from pursuing the arts, you know. Like since we have the internet, you have so much access to like tutorials, critique spaces, this and that and this and that, that it's really up to you. Like if it's the best plan for you to go like a community college versus a private institution, you could still make a great art career out of that, and many professionals still do. The funniest thing about going to art schools though is like you can't get that experience anywhere else. Like weird art school kids are like the peak of comedy, you know? They'll be walking around on like 50-inch platforms and you're just like, why are you doing that? Like, oh, I have painting today. You know, it's just weird stuff like that you can't get anywhere else. So, but I wouldn't say don't let the institution that you go to hold you back. If it's your passion, you can get it done no matter what. And really, the only thing that's like kept me at art school is the ease of access and the connections. Connections are a big thing, but you can get that on Twitter. You know, if you got your hustle, you can make anything work.
True facts. Honestly, man, bars. So true, so true. But yeah, like we talked about some of like the positives, some of the benefits that we can get out of art school from like either physically being there, the connections you can make and all of that. Some of the classes that can be provided. But what are some things that while you were there or like before you even got there that you would have wanted to see different, and not just like your school in general, but like your like schools surrounding like creativity? Like what are some things that you would wish that like, man, like I wish this would have been better? Like I can list like 101 things, however it's not about me. It's not about me, and I'm gonna let Kayla do it for me because Kayla is in the same place in the same major, so I'm sure Kayla got plenty to say. But we're going to start this one off with Trace because you just spit bars and I want you to go again. So, what are some things that you would have loved to see be a little different for art school for you?
I would talk from like my freshman year, right? I came in, I was all giddy and everything, and I came from like an all black school. And RISD likes to like flaunt their diversity. And so I was thinking I'm about to be cultured. You know, I'm about to be seeing everybody from every place. I'm about to see Italians. I'm about to see Koreans. I'm about to see everybody, you know? And I got here, it was a little, you know what I mean? It was a little pale, you know? And I want that to be something that art schools and just schools in general strive to like fix, because they love to flaunt diversity. A lot of places love to do that, but they don't dedicate enough outreach to gain that diversity. You know what I mean? And it's a big issue because we have programs like Black Card members or Black and Animated or like challenges and like forums and stuff that are made like Drawing While Black. But I think it's really a thing that schools need to like focus in on, because we have a lot of independent artists like being like, oh, we need more diversity in the industry, but we also need it in schools, not even just art schools, because that diversity will bring in better opinions for the art, better perspectives, and like it'll make the institution a better place. And I think if they reached out to not only just like feeder high schools for art schools, if they reached out to like athletic schools or just trying to find that one kid who draws during class in any situation, that we'd have better, like a better public understanding of art schools in general. That's like one of my biggest pet peeves, because they always want to say that we're here for all the POC and like our POC student body, but they never really try and depth in it. They don't try and like make it larger for the student population.
Dang, that hurt. In the best ways though, because I'm like, man, so true. These
So
art
true.
schools be white as hell, y'all. They really do. On the brochures, you'd be like, oh, hey, look at all those varieties of colors and backgrounds and all that. And then you get there and it's just like, oh.
Yeah, because they make sure to have a couple of people of color spread in the pamphlets, you know, just sprinkled
Yeah,
in.
they do one.
Yeah.
Bro, you gotta be dodging them on campus. You know, when they come out with the camera, they're like, ooh, they're all in a group.
Yeah.
And you gotta weave, you know? You gotta be like, don't get me, bro. They're lying, you know?
Honestly.
Kayla, you can start us off next with what are some things you would want to see different in art school?
Let's see. Like, obviously, like the diversity part of it, I connected so well with that because, like, going into more, like, everyone who was like black or people of color or person of color, they were all way in higher grades than me. Like, they were all like juniors or seniors, and then the Black Student Union was super small, and I wasn't able to join it anyway because of work and stuff. But God, I also wish like that school make it like art school be more accessible as well. Like not even just towards black students, but also towards like students who have like disabilities or mental health or things similar to those because I see it a lot going around like my school in general of students with disabilities having a harder time to like get their like accessibility um like handled and everything, like, and then teachers don't know how to properly assist students who have disabilities either. Like there's a girl in my class who has a really bad like speech impediment where she stutters a lot. And like I know people in my life who have who have like the same speech impediment where they just have a hard time speaking and they stutter and it's like not their fault. Like that's just how they are. They can't help that. And you can tell that like the teacher didn't know how to handle that, especially in a class where you're supposed to present a presentation every single week. Like it's crazy how borderline like disrespectful he was. And that's not just towards like students who have a speech impediment, it's just towards students who have to like have crutches or in a wheelchair, things like that. It's really hard for them to get around sometimes because either the elevators don't work or there's only places where you can go in that has stairs or things like that. It's just super hard for some students. Like I know they're making improvements and they're expanding their accommodations, but as students who need more, they just can't get it, and I hope that can change soon.
Yeah, definitely. Being able to accommodate for students is a big thing that I feel that a lot of schools, not even just art schools, that I feel a lot of schools really need to work on. Accessibility is extremely important, and it's something that a lot of schools lack. They like to tend to put out the better image of, look at this fancy new library we got, or look at how we completely redid our lounge area. And it's just like, okay, but like one of the stairs has a giant hole in it. When are we going to fix that? Because that's one of the main places that we walk up and down on all the time. So absolutely, more work towards accessibility, 110% important. I fully agree with that.
A student had fell down the steps, broke her wrist, and then it was towards finals week, and the teacher was like, well, I guess you're just gonna fail, I'm not gonna accommodate you. Like the teacher just did not allow her to have an extension on her final project, even though her dominant hand was like her dominant wrist was broken. They were like, she's just like, well, you didn't really get much done for your final project anyway, so I'm just gonna fail you. That student ended up dropping out because of that. It
Yeah,
was so
I would
crazy.
say not just accessibility, but also needing better teachers, it seems, because some of these people, you know what, we could get into it, but also I don't want to take up too much time on the negatives. So let's keep moving. But I do hope that she is doing much better because man, we could drag more, but we're not going to. Just in case they watch this video, and if they do, hey, more college art and design, give me my money back. Anyways, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Um, moving on. E.
For me, it's definitely the diversity as well. So just as a fun little fact for everyone, the University of Florida has an F in diversity. An F. It's that bad. This is a $50,000 like 50,000 people campus, and it has an F in diversity. And it's very upsetting because you would think, at least in the art school, there would be more minority professors, and there's not. There's not many Black and brown professors. And me being a Black student, like, it's very hard to get actual help about the specific artwork and the specific themes that I'm working with, simply because these people do not have the life experience or even like have the same understanding and how I see life, essentially. And it's not something that I only struggle with. It's like a lot of my peers also struggle with that as well. Because there'd be times where we'd just be having a critique or we're doing like a project proposal, and the professor would look at us like aliens, the students would look at us like aliens, and it would make us extremely uncomfortable and even want us to make us like cut whatever project we're doing at the time and completely rework it just so that it can be understood by the majority. And the point is that this artwork is for the minority. So, it's like, it's very tough when what you're trying to like learn and understand is coming through such a specific lens that you can't even get help from it. And I am specifically like, I worked to be the School of Art and Art History ambassador so that I can actually be representation for students that are coming in, freshmen or international students or transfer students. And I even spoke to the faculty members saying like, hey, we need more Black and brown professors because this is not working. Like, I've spoken to so many other students and it's not working for us. And we finally have one Black professor, and it's after like 4 years of waiting. So, like, and I don't even get to have that professor either since I'm graduating in 2 months. So it's like, like, I'm happy for those who are like coming up through the program with this professor now, but that shouldn't have been something that I had to really like fight for. That's not something that the students should have had to fight for.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when it comes to having like more professors look like you and can understand what it is that you're trying to represent, because sometimes when you don't have that right person, they definitely aren't going to fully get your prompt. They're not going to fully understand what the meaning is behind your work, and that can hurt because they will try to grade you and say that, oh, this is wrong, but that's just simply because they personally do not understand what it is that you're trying to represent, versus having someone who is like another Black or brown teacher. They would be absolutely 110% get it. They would get it a whole lot more.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I agree with that 100%.
Yep. There's been times where I've had to like fully explain my project, like historical research and everything, like literally covering 400 years of history just to get people to understand what it's about. And even then it's like, whoa. No, thank you. We can't do this. And it's like, I can't, like, I don't know what to do about that. Like, I say what I said what I had to say. If you don't get it, you don't get it. The girls that get it. The girls that don't. It's not my problem.
I know that's right.
So
I
true,
know that's
bestie.
right. I know that's right. What about you, Rose? What are some things that you would want to see change in art schools in general?
Oh my god, I got too many. I can make a PowerPoint. Okay. Art schools need to stop charging. Needs to like, I can't believe like they make students pay for like $250 art kits for with a whole bunch of products that the students do not use whatsoever. Like, I just had to buy basically a whole bunch of school supplies that I'm never gonna use again, and then like, it's so ridiculous. Like, they'll be like, "Oh yes, you need every single one of these," and then you don't, and you will not ever touch it in class or at home. So it's basically just like a $200 plus like waste of time. And then, oh my god, the diversity. Oh my god, like, there needs to be more diversity in the faculty, because I have a professor, and he is a white, cis, straight man, straight out of like the 1950s. And it is a time. Every time I go into that class and all the students walk in, there is this vibe. Like, you know, when you go walk into a classroom and something's not right, like you go walk in a room and you're like, you know, the vibes here, they're not correct. It's a like he is very much a negative person, and some of these teachers are just awful at teaching. I'm like, how do you get your degree? How did you get this teaching certificate and then be awful? Like it shakes it like as someone who's about to graduate in a few months, it just boggles my mind because I'm like, how do you sit here and be like, yeah, I'm a good teacher, and then like fail like half your class? Like, make it make sense. Especially when it comes to critiques. I have never seen so many people just walk out and just cry in the hallway and then come back in and pretend like everything was okay. Because like they have all these white professors coming from literally the same group of people, because in New York, like, their art scene is not that like the we have the Society of Illustrators, which is like this big group. I don't really even care about them because they're all just a bunch of white cis men usually. You get some cis girls. Great, I guess. I haven't seen like a single black person in that building at all, and I've been there multiple times. And it's like they don't get it when you try to explain a project to them, and it may not even be related to your race, but they're so immediate to be like, that kind of sucks. I'm like, what? It's, oh my god, the diversity is so bad. Accessibility, they be spending so much money on ridiculous things instead of, like I said, the stairs. The stairs, literally basic necessities. I know FIT likes to brag about being, oh, it's so cool. It's not as expensive, and yet the elevators are like dropping down 3 floors. That happened one time. Like, the elevators got stuck, and something happened, and it just started falling down with people inside. And I was like, we are paying so much money, and you guys can't even afford to fix the necessary modes of transportation to get to our classes, and you guys can't even hire good professors. Like, I am lucky enough that since I'm in New York, I do have some nice professors, but oh my goodness, like, the amount of professors that are just like will just critique your work for no reason because they just don't have they don't know the history, or they don't know the background. It's just ridiculous. I can go on, but all I'm gonna say is it's a mess. They need to fix everything, build it from the ground up if they have to. But it cannot be going on like this no more. But
Yeah,
that's just me.
heartfelt. Heart heartfelt. Man, oh my god. So it's looking like from all across the board. And again, let's remember that all four of these students are all in completely different schools, all in different states at that as well. In the US, and it seems that no matter almost which school you go to, for the most part, to a certain level, is that they all tend to have a diversity issue. Teachers have an
Okay.
empathy issue. Like, there is a lack of not just diversity like in the students, but also the teachers as well. Like, there are so many things that still needs to be changed to this day with art schools, and it's 2022, and yet here we still are with so many issues. However, some way, somehow, they're still pushing themselves through it. Not even saying they have to push themselves through it, like, they should already have the things that they need at the ready. They should be able to not have to worry about, like, is this teacher going to be racist to me today, or am I going to have a good time in this class? Like, that should not be something that should still be worried about in this day and age, and yet it is. And that sucks. That's crazy because, again, I personally graduated in 2019 and I was still dealing with those things. But history just continues to repeat itself. And this is a hard truth that a lot of people still have to realize. It's a hard truth, and it's something that still is going to take a lot of work to get through and change. But hey, who knows when it'll change at the time that it does. But you know what? We're not going to keep talking on negatives. We're going to start moving into something a little bit more positive. We're going to try to brighten it up a little bit because I want to see those smiles back on your faces. I want to see them. I want to see them again. I want to see my babies smiling. Because you know what? At the end of the day, we are still going to continue to provide safe spaces for you guys. We're going to continue to make sure that we get you guys the help and the resources that you guys need whenever you need it. Because at the end of the day, you will be succeeding. You will be getting to where it is that you need to be. And you will be making great strides in the industry that you choose to be in. That's where it's always going to be. But you know what? Let's talk about some other stuff. Let's talk about some of your inspirations. Now, y'all all started somewhere just as the rest of us did, but let's talk about some things that inspire you or people who even inspired you. You're not allowed to say me because I already see it on some of y'all's faces that some of y'all would do that. And I already went through it yesterday. We're not doing that. We're not doing it. We're not doing
We
it.
can do it again. We can do it again.
No, we
We can
don't.
do
No,
it
we
again.
don't. No, we don't. No,
Yeah,
we
Yeah,
don't.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Nah,
yeah,
nah,
come on,
nah.
besties,
Yeah.
let's do it.
No, we're not doing that again because
We're
I
gonna
see
hype you
y'all.
up. We're gonna
No,
hype you
no,
up.
it's not about me. And we're
It's a,
not gonna go over
It
no
is about you.
time. You know what?
it's
You see how they bully me? You see how they bully me? I can't
yes,
believe
that's what
I'm getting
schools
picked on by a bunch of kids. Anyway,
exactly. That's what art school kids do.
they bully. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Anyways, we're gonna. You know what? I'm gonna pinpoint certain things now that I know that you guys like, and we're gonna trail off those. So, Rose, let's start with you first. So let's talk about your love for magical girls and stuff. What's going on with that, homie?
Oh my god. Oh my god. I love magical girls ever since like I was like a young kid. Oh my god. I can't even think which show. What really started it for me. I could say Sailor Moon. Actually no. It was Oshamaho Doremi. And let me tell you something. I was drawing fan art of it in class. I would get in trouble, but I loved it. I love magical girl stuff so much, and I love romance stuff like visual novels and stuff like that. Like it'd be hitting something different in my poor sad little soul. I'd be like, yes, yes, comfort me, fake anime boyfriend of the week, comfort me, comfort me. I love it. I love romance. I love magical girls because you get romance and you get magic and you get whoop ass scenes. Like you get good fighting scenes. Shout out to Pretty Cure. I love them so much. Yes, all I have to say is watch Pretty Cure.
So true, magical girls,
I
especially
love
Pretty Cure. Pretty Cure is like,
they're my
man,
girls.
we could go. But Kayla, let's talk about some of your inspirations. What are some things that inspire you, inspire your work?
Gosh, what doesn't? I have so many different pinpoints of inspiration that it's hard to even understand. Like, of course, Rebecca Sugar has been a big inspiration for me, but I liked Rebecca Sugar before she made Steven Universe. Okay, I'm an OG fan. I'm be like the hipster saying like I liked it before it was cool. No, I saw Rebecca Sugar's SVA animation called Slices or Singles, and I loved her art style. And then I realized that she worked at Cartoon Network and she was making a show called Steven Universe. And then like also like a whole bunch of online artists have inspired me a lot with my own like style and of art, and just a whole bunch of just like different cartoons. There's a whole bunch of different things. I can't really pinpoint just like one thing that inspires me because it's so many different things. Comics. I love graphic novels on, and like Scott Pilgrim versus the World was one of the first. Actually, no, I'm lying. Not Scott Pilgrim. It was the other one. What was it? It was called. I have it here. Seconds.
Okay, with the reference at the ready. At the ready.
It was my first. It was the first comic book or first graphic novel that I read that wasn't manga related, and I realized that I can make graphic novels in this style. Like I can make it in my own style. It doesn't have to look like anime. Because I always gravitated towards Western style animation rather than like I loved anime, of course, but like I love drawing in like Western style like animation, like I can't think of any examples right now. Like Steam Universe basically was my whole style. And when I found out about seconds, I was like, yeah, this is it. This right here, amazing, fantastic. I love it. And, and it just evolved from there.
Definitely, definitely. Trace, what about you? What are some things that inspire your work now?
Shoot, y'all already know what I like. If you follow me on Twitter, Bleach. I'm a Shonen Jump ho, bro. I am
Yo.
a mainstream fiend. Like anime, don't get me started, bro. But everything, like anything that I watch, I'm about to put it in my art. You know, I like copping art styles. Big inspiration, Tekihiko Inoue, the creator of Slam Dunk and Vagabond, Type Kubo, you know, Bleach, yeah. And I used to love Neil Druckmann because of The Last of Us, but we ain't gonna delve into that today, guys. We ain't gonna delve into that. But as you can see,
stand for the slander for The Last of Us.
Hey, the first one, banger. The second one, we don't have to get into that.
You can't say that's not good.
It ain't.
It wasn't a good. It wasn't a good game. I'm not gonna stand for the slander.
It was boo boo, but but I love anime. You know, like I think looking at a bunch of black artists like adapt or like try and make their own like stuff off of anime, it's just like feeds me. It inspires me, makes me gets my drive going. You know, I get into the zone. I pick up my Apple Pencil and I start quaking, and then bam, another Blacktober piece. You know, like who I love Abel's work. You know, Koi Doodles. They make some good stuff. All them stickers, bro. But they're Soul Eater. And then who else? Man, Ian Jones Cordy, I love his stuff. He making me want to be a Sonic fan. I be wanting to like log into Sonic, you know what I mean? But yeah,
true. And it's funny you say that Koi is listening actually in the chat right now. So it's funny you mentioned that.
I'm embarrassed. Don't look at me. I'm big fans, but I'm. Like back in the day, I was one of them little anime kids. I was like one of them big weebs. Like I had my bangs down and everything. I couldn't like make it a scene haircut, so I was just like had like frills in front of me. And I'd be like, you wouldn't understand. Anime isn't a cartoon. It's a lifestyle. You know, I'd be like walking around with that and shit. Sorry. And yeah, tracing art for a little bit, watching Mark Crilly videos because I wanted to draw L right. You know.
Oh my God. Not the haircut. Yeah. Not the haircut, bestie.
When your parents wouldn't let you cut or dye your hair, so you had to make do.
Man, I miss them days, you know, where anime was just like, that was just like the best thing since sliced bread, you know? I was like, there's a new episode of Bleach. I'm in heaven right now.
Mommy?
Me watching Dragon Ball Z.
So true. All right, Key, let's go on to you so that we can get ready for Q&A. So what are some things that inspire your work?
Definitely Bleach also. Definitely a Bleach hoe. I was on that. I still go back to it. It's my comfort show. I just pull it up whenever I'm stressed out. That and also Katsura Hoshino. I always pronounce it wrong, but she's the creator of yes, the Gray Man. I love your Gray Man so much. That is one of the reasons why I constantly draw demons. Like I really love monsters, so she's one of the reasons why I constantly draw them. But one of the very, very big influences on me that made me realize I can actually do art as a job was Ruby, RWBY. I realized like through Rooster Teeth, like they usually had that podcast and they had like a couple of the behind the scenes to everything. And just seeing how Monty Ohm worked, I was like, I want to do this too. How do I do this? And now I'm here in art school, trying to make that happen. Yeah, lots of inner child memories.
Okay. Love the Ruby shout out. I love me some Ruby. People still don't like it, but you know what? I don't care. I love Ruby. Ruby was great.
I don't care. Great. I haven't been caught up for like, I don't know, 7 years, but it's fine.
Don't even worry about it. It's okay. We're still gonna like it, and they're not gonna worry about it. It's fine. Don't even worry about it. It's okay.
Exactly.
Totally fine. So, all right. So we're at the last like few moments now for the panel. So now is the best time for if anyone has any questions or like general comments that you guys want to give to any of our four panelists here. Right now, now's the time to do so. But during this time, if you guys have anything you want to plug besides me just like casually dropping all your social media right now into the chats,
Wait, what?
don't worry about it. If there's anything you guys want to plug, now's the time. But for now, if you guys want to, ask some questions. So, we have one question actually already in Twitch. So, Will G. Wilson says, "How do you make connections without going to art school? Seems like it's the main reason to go. So, how would you guys go about making connections without going to art trades?" All right, yeah, the hand raise, go.
Can y'all hear me? Okay. During events like Black History Month or Blacktober or Drawing While Black, just start talking to folk, Like, that's how I met Cell and like Abel and then like a bunch of other like cool black folk, black artists in general, right? Social media is a great thing, if you're just trying to like talk to folk. Start like commenting and saying, "I love your artwork." Like, just start chatting with artists that you appreciate and they'll notice the effort that you're putting in and everything. And attend like online conventions like this, or just maybe hit up somebody who you look up to. Be like, "Hey, I want to get like you one day," and you'd be surprised at how many folk like actually respond because they actually want to see more folk like us in the industry.
Definitely agree with that, and that is true. This is actually how I met a lot of you guys. Was through like these online like events happening from like hashtags. Some of you guys joined in on BCM or like something along those lines. But yeah, definitely like 100% agree with that. Try through socials. But does anyone else have an answer to the question? How would you make connections without going to art school?
Yes.
Already.
I'll choose someone to talk.
Choose someone. All right. Well, Rose, I saw you raise your hand again. So Rose, got.
Okay, social media. I cannot stress it enough. Social media. Looking into the camera like a crazy person, but I'm so serious. Like, I literally met a lot of so many talented people through social media, especially Instagram. I don't know how Instagram even worked like that, but like, because apparently it searches people based on your likes or whatever. I kind of found so many cool people through like Instagram, and I was like, "Oh wow, this stuff is really good," and I started liking them, and then I'll be like sharing their posts and stuff, and I was like, "Man, like, wow, that's actually kind of cool." And then they follow me back, and I'm like, "Oh, me!" And then Twitter's the same way. Like, this drops some comments being like, "Yo, your art so fine, I love it, it's so cute," and they'll be like, "OMG, thank you so much," and then that's how bonds form, and it's like, it's so nice just to comment on people, and it's like, it's just fun to do, honestly. I like to comment on other people's posts and be like, "Yo, can I steal your art style for a moment? Because it looks seriously amazing." It's just talking to people. You just gotta talk to people. I know it's hard, besties, but we can do it. We are gonna girl boss our way into being good, successful girl bosses. That's my advice.
You know what? Felt. Kayla, do you have a response to this?
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm a shy person. I find it super hard to reach out to people. But I reached out to Cell like just randomly on Instagram. I felt so bad because I cold texted Cell like, "Hey, say we went to the same school. Hi, my name's Kayla," and like that's literally how I was able to get into like Black Card members and having all these like friends that I like, people I can call friends like in the industry, and also just like in art itself. Social media 100%. I second that. Like, there's no other way to really spread yourself and reach out to people other than like going to these events or participating in hashtags and just like even just drawing fan art for someone, like drawing fan art for people's characters can get you noticed by them, or just like commenting, liking their work and being consistent. Like I had got commissioned by a like art director for I forgot the Obsidian or Ubi's, I forgot. But they wanted me to draw an Animal Crossing villager for them because they liked my Animal Crossing illustration that I made like last year. It's just like posting and like just being in those hashtags and not communicate, but just like reaching out to people is like the best way to be within that group or and everything.
Yeah, definitely. Hard to agree with that. I'm not gonna lie. You were like, yeah, that's how I met so Instagram. I was like, is that how we met? I don't remember. I do remember you reaching out to me being like, hey, we go to the same school. I want to say hi. And I'm like, oh baby, you're coming after I leave. And you were like, oh.
Yeah, yeah,
But that's okay. It wound up becoming like a mentorship essentially.
Yeah.
All right, now Key, what is let me go back to the question. How would you make connections with people without going to art school? Like how would you go about making those connections?
Definitely like how my besties have said, definitely social media. Like I definitely get it being shy. I have such bad social anxiety. Like I'd be holding my phone trying to text and I'm like quaking. Like I can't do it. But really sometimes you just gotta take the dive and just join communities like BCM. I joined when BCM was still fairly small. Like I hopped in right before COVID hit and we all went to quarantine. And then I was just in BCM constantly, just chatting away because I had nothing else to do. And then I eventually became a mod. And then I'm not a mod right now, just taking a little break for school reasons, But definitely, like, you just have to take that first step and just try to talk to people because sometimes that's all it takes. Because sometimes the other person is too shy to talk to. So you got to meet in the middle at some point. But also not even for like being online either. Like sometimes you can just go to your local museum, your local art museum or something. See if you can pick up an internship there or like just let yourself be known by these people there. Like for example, in high school, I went to volunteer. It was a requirement for my high school to graduate. I had to volunteer and I went to the NSU Museum of Art in Fort Lauderdale. I volunteered there for like a good 6 months and then packed it up, left, went to college. And now I'm thinking about going back and being like, hey, can I get a job or something? LOL, help, please. And sometimes like you just got to do that. Sometimes you just got to talk to people and just see what happens. Because the worst thing that they'll do is like ghost you, say no. What else? What are they going to do? That's it.
So very true. So very true. But yeah, there are definitely tons of ways that you can still connect and meet people outside of just art school. Like you have all forms of social media, you have different communities that you can join. Like not just online, but even in person. Like there are definitely sometimes like places in like libraries or like community centers that'll have those kinds of resources for you where you can go and make those connections without having to pay thousands of dollars going into an art school. Especially if you ain't got no scholarships or anything like that, please make sure that you're getting scholarships if you're going to art school. Don't just go in all willy-nilly. I beg of you. But yeah, it's looking like we're running out of time now. So one last time, we're just gonna quickly plug in these guys' social medias on all the platforms we're on right now. Do y'all have any last things that you guys would like to say for everyone before you guys leave?
Capitalism
Right.
sucks.
You said art school? I got an art table here.
Y'all slide down to artistry. That'd be
Pretty dope. You know what I mean? Like, just let me some money.
Yeah,
Some money.
definitely.
I completely forgot about that.
Some coin over there. I'm unfortunately not in the artist alley, but I'll plug probably like a PayPal or something.
Yes, plug all your things. Plug all your things. All right. Well, that's about it. Thank you guys again so much
Thank you
for
very
coming
much.
and talking with me, little me. I appreciate it. Y'all made me
course.
feel old, but also made me feel so full of love. And it was
We
a
love you,
great
parents.
time. Yeah, I'm grandma. I know, I'm grandma.
Don't worry, we'll walk you. We'll walk you to your bed.
We'll get you
Man,
home. We'll
anyways,
get you
not me
home.
bringing these four together, and now they're the best of friends who come to harass me. I can't believe this.
You shouldn't have done
Anyways,
it.
all right, y'all. We're gonna get ready to end it now, and we're actually gonna get ready to move up into the next panel, well, speaker, with Ren, who's going to be talking about Afrofantasy and why it matters. So we will be back shortly, with that panel. But thank you guys again so much for coming, and that'll be it for right now.
Thank you.
It's been an honor.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
All right, awesome. Yay. um, so hello everyone and welcome to the final presentation for the Black Card Gala 2022. It's such a privilege to be able to talk with you all today. It's my goal to share my definition on Afrofantasy and how it differs from other genres in media. I'll be asking you as the audience a few questions throughout the presentation, And at the end, I'll open the floor for more discussion. And with that, let us begin. So to start, I want to share a little bit about myself. My name is Lauren, also Ren. I go by Chronic Tonic online, which for those that don't know, that basically means lightning in a bottle because I really like lightning. I think it's really cool. My pronouns are she, her. I was born in Chicago, Illinois. I currently live in Indianapolis, Indiana. And my nationality, ethnicity, I'm African American and Jamaican. And as I said before, I'm a lightning enthusiast. So yeah. A little bit more about my background in terms of education. I received an International Baccalaureate diploma. I got a BS in computer science from Boston University. I have experience as a technical consultant, and I now work as a freelance web designer. I've the creator of my own webcomic called Wanna Be Hero. I am a game dev, and I'm also a Code Covenant alum. So you probably noticed them throughout the gala this past weekend, and I and a few other members of the Black Card members as well are can probably sing their praises to here and back because it is such a great group. I was in their introduction to game development program, and I highly recommend checking them out if you're of a marginalized background and want to get into game development. Yay! Also, indie residents. That's awesome. I have you guys. I have the chat open on my phone, so if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. So moving on, what exactly is Afrofantasy? Well, the technical definition that I found is that it's a subgenre of fiction where myth and magic are based on African cultures and that of the Black diaspora. So if you want a very short-handed version of that phrase, it's basically Blackness plus fantasy equals Afrofantasy. I will say it's it's not a terribly new genre. It's just the way that Afrofantasy is presented now is relatively new. So you won't see a whole plethora of examples, but it's definitely a growing genre with a lot of up and coming media and everything. Whew. So some similar genres that you'll see, one is magical realism, and that's basically where magic and fantasy are an accent to the real world. So an immediate thing that comes to mind is Harry Potter, where it's the real world. It's just that magic is kind of in the background, and it's a mechanism for how people may get around, how they accomplish their goals, etc. Another similar genre is Afrofuturism, which is a genre where the Black diaspora culture and technology meet, and especially to showcase that Black people have a part in the future. At least that's what I believe is the main goal with Afrofuturism, because a lot of times when it comes to sci-fi, say Star Wars, or that's the main one I can think of, Star Wars, there's hardly any Black people. In fact, I think as far as I haven't watched like all the shows or media, but from what I can tell, there's Lando and Finn. So, definitely it kind of makes it feel like, wait, Black people aren't in space? Like they don't have a role there? Like what's up with that? So, yeah. And sometimes what happens with these genres is that because it's involves Black people primarily, they kind of get lumped together, which to some extent it's okay to generalize, but at the same time, it's like, no, these are very different things. So for example, I'll be talking about one of these examples further on later, but the Children of Blood and Bone series, it's probably the most prevalent Afrofantasy book out there right now, and at least for young adults. And Essence, on their online article, they described it as Afrofuturism, which I'm just like, no, I don't think so. I'm sure they have their own reason as to why, but it is, at least based off of what I've read and like my interpretation, that is not Afrofuturism. So why exactly is this important? While there is no shame whatsoever in being Black, there are definitely many parts of our history that we prefer to not think about literally all the time. It is exhausting, it is traumatizing, it leaves us with scars to last us for generations, and it's helpful to not think that our existence is tied to those events exclusively. It's important to know and be educated on these traumatic events, but we deserve the right to not be consistently bombarded by these aspects of our history in fiction. Like fiction in of itself is like doesn't pertain to realism. So why does it feel that a lot of shows, media, movies, etc., feel the need to bring that up consistently? In fact, it can seem that creators are perfectly fine highlighting the despairs of events such as slavery, apartheid, etc., but they don't allow for audiences to see that Black history and culture is more than these events and that they have their glowing aspects to them. Fiction allows us to escape, and when it comes to media produced by others, for some reason, creators are cool with magic and dragons and mythology and everything, but they draw the line in including Black people in fictional settings. Pardon. And in fact, it feels as though sometimes whenever Black history is given a spotlight, it's essentially fetishizing our trauma, pain, and suffering, either from not from the slavery, either from slavery, the civil rights movement, and police brutality. In addition, it feels as though these type of stories are meant to feed onto white guilt, especially especially around award season, like the Grammys and other movie awards that are shown on national television. It's not exactly for Black people to be educated. It's more to help. Not even helps. It's more to, as I said before, like kind of feed onto white guilt and everything. And why is this important? Well, the importance is in the power of representation. Media forms how we see the world, especially when we're younger. A lack of representation in and of itself is harmful, but exposure to negative representations can hinder our own perception of ourselves and others. I'll pull from a personal example. Growing up, I was very wary on sharing my Jamaican heritage because I would immediately be asked to speak in Jamaican patois, which unfortunately I cannot do. I was raised in the U.S. my whole life, and if it was that, it was either that or I was asked to why don't I have dreadlocks, or if I smoke weed, which it's fine if you have dreadlocks and or smoke weed, but you can't generalize a whole nation simply on those two factors, right? You just cannot do that. That is definitely not cool. And so I would like to open up the floor to the audience. What are some stories, shows, or media that help to make you feel seen? And how did they affect you? I think I know for sure for me, like one thing that came out within the past few years was the Black Panther film from 2018 that helped me feel, I don't know, it just felt really good to be seen in that regard. And another similar one that left a very positive impact on me was Into the Spider-Verse as well, with Miles Morales and all that good stuff from Sony Animation. So I'll brief. I'll pause on talking for a quick second to let you guys come up with a few responses. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Okay. I never seen that movie actually. I need to look into it. Spider-Verse, I'm learning Afro-Latino who grew up in Brooklyn. He's just like me for real. That's awesome. I really love the representation of Zion in the Matrix sequels when I was younger. Last Human Settlement being made up of mostly Black and brown folks was a revelation. Spider-Verse as well. Craig of the Creek, yes, Craig of the Creek. I've been hearing great things about that. Nintendo finally added POC skin colors and hairstyles to their main franchises. Oh boy, yeah. Mulan, all right, awesome. Mulan is one of my favorite Disney films. I adore her. Early Nick Cartoon Network and Disney Channel shows. Yep, that's So Raven. That's some good mess right there. Says Static Shock. Oh yeah, Static Shock. LT Gray. Oh, that was an awesome one. Yep. I'll read a few more responses and then I'll keep going. Prince of the Frog. Yes, I love that movie to death. Detective Pikachu, where the main character was a mixed boy, black mother, white father. I cried my eyes out afterwards because my favorite franchise has that. Yeah. Fillmore. Avatar Last Airbender. Up. Big fan of the Mighty Grand Piton Eon. I don't know. Sorry, I was literally. I don't know if anyone here has this trailer, but Caribbean Mech anime. Oh yes, I think I've seen the like the beginning anime for or the trailer for that. That's really cool. Yeah. Oh, okay. And I think that actor that you just showed there in the I'm looking at the Discord chat specifically just to let y'all know, but that actor, I think he played Mercutio in the 1996 Romeo and Juliet, so that's where I recognize him from. Just a few more responses and I move on, I promise. I'm just so excited to see what you guys like have to say and everything. Oh yes, Brandy Cinderella. That ooh, yes. I always like had the headcanon that the reason why Disney had Tiana in that light blue dress in the beginning was inspired by Brandy Cinderella. That was I mean, you'll have to like you have to give me cold hard evidence if I'm wrong, but oh, Harold Perrineau literal icon. Sonic, first voice actor was black, and I always loved that. Yes, ooh, The Wiz. Yeah, I'm a big fan of The Wizard of Oz, so definitely feel y'all on that. All right, so I'm gonna move on now. Grandmother told me she wants to see Brandy Cinderella. I've got to play for her. Oh, awesome. All right, now stop me if you've heard this one before. Him. Black people can't be a part of this story. They don't fit the aesthetic. Or but black people wouldn't have existed in this medieval setting. That's why they don't belong here. Or alternatively, what's going on here? That's not how black people look. They're supposed to look like insert stereotype here. um, again, like I guess opening the floor again, what are some excuses that you've heard about shows for not including black people? Or why the black people in shows you've watched or media that you've consumed aren't well developed? I can say for sure that one of the main factors to this is that black people are often not a part of the process, either from the writer's room to the cast selection. And when it comes to how we us as like consumers view this, it seems as though they don't care. They don't care that these people aren't represented very well. They don't care that they're rehashing stereotypes. They don't care that they're perpetuating stereotypes. And yeah, it's definitely detrimental. Every single one of these, every time. Yeah. It's not historically accurate. Yeah. Yo, for me, the thing I've seen the most is just historical accuracy and SJW pandering. Yeah, which again drives me to my previous point where it's just like it's okay if we have magic and these things that literally don't exist in our real world, but black people, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of stretching it, don't you think? I say sarcastically. Yo, class, I just don't know how to draw or write them. Oh, yeah, yeah. Lord of the Rings, D&D, and anything Tim Burton makes. Yeah. I just can't see this character being black. I mean, I'm looking at you, Piccolo. No, I'm kidding. Mostly. Black people weren't in those areas at the time. They think black people were invented after white people or something. Y'all are funny. Y'all are making me crack up. Only 12% of the US population is black. The next person who tells me black mermaids, elves, and witches can't exist. Yeah. And all black cast isn't diverse. Ooh, yeah. Black people have been around the world throughout history, just like all people of all ethnicities. There have been explorers and traveling merchants from all cultures. I agree. Someone said, when Black stories are pitched to major networks, a lot of times we hear, have you pitched this to BET yet? You're lying. I mean, you're not lying, but that is, that's really disheartening to hear. I've also heard recently, either through Twitter or some other means, that a lot of character designers, if they want a character to still be brown, they have to start the character as dark as possible, because each like part of the process and evaluation, they'll be lightened up a little bit each time. So that's also something where it's just kind of like, why though? I don't know about this Black character exists in this fantasy world that set 60,000 years from now, where people can fly, animals are scientists. I'm looking at you, Overwatch. It would break the immersion. Black people were invented in 1965. Tell me why hobbits were described as brown skin in Lord of the Rings, but not a brown person was seen in the movie. Yeah, it's interesting because I've seen a few posters for the new Lord of the Rings, either TV show or something, and they purposely included Black people's hands. So I'm just kind of like, I guess they're trying to true something, but not BET. We missed out on Black hobbits. You're right. Birds aren't real. Right. Oh man. So I'm very happy to hear that you guys we're kind of vibing on the same level, where it's just kind of like, this is ridiculous. Like, why is this happening? This should not be the case. Because overall, it's not that because of the amount of people who are giving their comments and everything, it's obvious that we're not the only ones who feel this way. There are plenty of other story creators, artists, etc. out there who are trying to push this forward. It's just that, particularly non-Black groups of people, they just don't see the point in seeing that. But it's been proven that representation does matter. And in fact, it basically frames our frame of mind and everything. But, we just have to keep pushing out our stories the best way we can. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit here, and I'm going to go through a few examples of shows that I really like, either shows or books that I've read and watched, and ask, basically evaluate if it's Afrofantasy or not. Some of these will look fairly obvious, some may not so much, but either way, we'll get into it, and I'll see what you guys think as well. So this little game is called Is It Afrofantasy? The 4 examples I provided, of course, the first one is Black Panther from 2018, Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beasts from Netflix, Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, and The 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin. So from my evaluations, only half of these are Afrofantasy, or at least based off of my personal definition of Afrofantasy. Some of them are close, but not like, they don't exactly hit the mark in terms of Afrofantasy. They're in a way, they're Black focused, but not Afrofantasy. Excuse me. So starting with Black Panther from 2018, this movie follows way more along with Afrofuturism than Afrofantasy. If you want to argue about the fantasy aspects of it, there could be some magical realism in it, just because a lot of Marvel superheroes is magical realism. But also the beginning sequence when Killmonger's dad is telling the story of Wakanda, and how the vibranium meteorite hit their continent and they were able to evolve from that. That is definitely a fantasy type sequence, as well as the rite of passage of becoming the Black Panther, where an up and coming Black Panther individual visits the ancestral plane. That's also fantasy aspect and mythology based. But those are like 2 pieces of a pie out of a whole pie. So definitely Afrofuturism movie with a little bit of fantasy mixed in it for flavor and seasoning. My second example is Keep on the Age of Wonder Beasts. Science is the reason behind the fantastical setting, making this show more along the lines of magical realism. There's less technology for sure by comparison to both Black Panther as a whole, especially because this is after set after an apocalypse, and because the creatures in this show have taken on like human roles and everything. It feels more reminiscent of a modern D&D campaign than anything. So definitely more, not Afro fantasy, but magical realism, I would classify Keepo and the Age of Wonder Beasts as. And in case you didn't know, and if you haven't watched this yet, the main cast is all Black within the show. And on top of that, all the main cast is voiced by either a Black person or a person of color. So if you haven't checked it out yet, it's a great watch. It's a little slow to start, but I highly recommend it. And on top of that, there's one of the main characters is LGBTQ. So yeah. Moving on, there is Children of Blood and Bone. This is one of my favorite books recently. I need to catch up with the second one, admittedly, but I read the first one. And so a little bit of background on this one. This is definitely fits what I define as Afro fantasy. The author, Tomi Adeyemi, is born of Nigerian immigrants. She was born and raised in the US, but her parents are from Nigeria. Growing up, they didn't teach her or her sibling their native language. I think they were trying to be sure that they were able to all fit in America and everything. But as an adult, she embraced her heritage more because she realized just how cool it was, and how once you don't worry about trying to fit in, you know, your own background can be really fascinating and everything. Within the book itself, there are themes of segregation still within all Black society. Those that have a magical ability or are magi are in a lower case than others, and they've been persecuted and, you know, exiled and executed. It's pretty dark, but it's a young adult novel. There are also themes of colorism, with the royal family being light-skinned compared to the main character who is dark-skinned. There's even a part in the story where one of the light-skinned characters is forced to have either like a skin bleaching compound on their skin to make their skin even lighter, or to have some sort of pigment on their skin to make them appear lighter. And they talk about how much it hurts and how, like, both emotionally and physically, this hurts them. So definitely there are still themes of colorism and segregation, even though the cast is pretty much all Black, which I find interesting. And Tomi Adeyemi has been said that this story is based on the Yoruba culture on the west side of Africa, the continent, as well as Harry Potter and Avatar: Last Airbender, which, upon reading it, it makes sense. Yes, I agree. It's a very beautiful series, and I'm looking forward to the third book as well. The final example I have for you all in terms of Afro fantasy is The 100,000 Kingdoms. Unlike the first three examples, this one is less family friendly. I would say this is more of an adult book. It's not purely explicit, but there's definitely a lot more adult themes than the first three examples that I've shown. Pardon. Excuse me. This is first in the Inheritance trilogy, written by the Hugo Award-winning writer N.K. Jemisin. Many of her other books, she has at least like 5+ books, which given that she's kind of been on the scene since maybe mid 2010s, which is quite an accomplishment. Many of her other books are in the Afro fantasy genre, although she does pull inspiration from non-Black cultures as well. In this world of the 100,000 Kingdoms novel, it's where mortals live alongside the gods that literally created their world. So when it came to the world, there was emptiness. Then there's 3 big gods, and all of their different spawn. They walk alongside them with mortals. Interesting enough, though, one family in particular has been able to restrain and contain the gods as slaves, which, incidentally, is the one that is said to, based on the description, is the white clan that basically has enslaved their gods and kind of used them to their will and everything. It's definitely a longer read, but it's also a trilogy, and I got through it and I found it really fun and interesting, so I definitely recommend it as well. And another note that I find interesting is that the main character, whose name is Zaina, is the equivalent of someone who is mixed Black and white. Pardon. When I say the equivalent of, they don't have a specific Black person, white person, or like someone who's Caucasian, African. They just kind of describe them based on their skin tone and hair texture, and, you know, drawing from real world parallels. Then yeah, she's interpreted to be mixed Black and white, which is really cool. Yeah, they're absolutely white imperialist analogs. Yep, for sure. So those are my 4 examples of stories that have fantastical elements and or are actual Afro fantasy. Are there any stories or media that you consider to be Afro fantasy yourself? Black Lightning. Um, if you're talking about the TV show, I would think of that more as a magical realism and or sci-fi based on if it's like the CW show, I mean, then I would maybe that's more sci-fi because the way that him and his family get their powers is through something similar to the Tuskegee experiments. I feel that's definitely a good like recommendation of like fantastical black elements and everything. What are the names of the books again? Want to take a read and forget to note down. Um, the books are Children of Blood and Bone by Tommy Adeyemi, and the other book is called The 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin. Me looking for recommendations, right? Black of unknown origin, gay. I don't know if this counts, but quite a few of Janelle Monáe's albums, music videos, and songs are huge inspired. Yes, yeah, definitely Janelle Monáe. She's definitely Afrofuturism. I really love her music. She is. I'll talk about her a little bit more later on in the presentation. The Bells by Doniel Clayton is one. Okay. I never heard of that before. I'll have to look into that. The 100,000 Kingdoms and Children of Blood and Bone. Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, she's a writer now? Oh, goodness. That's exciting. I can't wait. Niobe. Okay. She stopped doing music, I think, Danger Book, so. Oh, yeah. I'm a big fan droid. Yep, exactly. Yeah, Afrofuturism does go hard. Another book that technically is Afrofuturism based on when it was released is Kindred by Octavia Butler. She's a big black sci-fi writer. And to summarize Kindred, it's basically a story where this woman goes back in time against her control and against her will back into slavery times and goes back and forth. And she watches basically one of her ancestors grow up and everything. And it's surprising who the ancestor is. Not to be a huge spoiler for that one. Right, read her books, right? I'm currently reading A Song Below Water, but I believe that's more magical realism from how you described it. Yeah. I saw her at Roots Picnic. Such an amazing performer. Yep. Parable of the Sower, Earthseed series. But I say that's more Afrofuturism as well. Right. So based off of what we're talking about, Afro fantasy is definitely a new kind of like field for all of us to get into and everything. And what I've seen a lot of times when I follow like a lot of artists on Twitter is that they have black OCs and black stories with fantastical elements, like say either black elves, black vampires, black fairies, etc. It's just that we're all independent creators and everything, right? So there's definitely a lot of like potential for Afro fantasy in the long run. So I'm excited. There's a new young adult series starting with a Blade So Black. Yes, I've heard of that. That's like Alice in Wonderland, but with a black protag and blacks on the culture. Nice. Blade. I haven't seen the film, and I don't know a lot about the character as a whole. But based off of the fact that if it's like a Marvel superhero or DC superhero, I would say could be under magical realism. Adding all these to my list. Exactly. Like once it's done, I'm gonna be going through all y'all's recommendations and like writing everything down for myself. So I'm really excited. So yeah, as I was saying before, as this is a growing genre, there's plenty of potential for the stories that one can create. In fact, I've been inspired to make my own. So I will briefly discuss my own project that I'm working on essentially. and that is called Wannabe Hero. So it initially started as a webcomic in 2017. I decided to change it into a game in 2020. Then, incidentally, this was after taking the game development course with Code Coven. And it's planned to be a point and click and RPG hybrid at that. And I classify it as Afro fantasy. Although admittedly, my story has many influences from Eurocentric fantasy, but I do my best to try to add different accents to what we normally see with fantasy races. So I don't really have orcs in it because I'm kind of done with that. I don't have. I'm trying to think of like anything that's kind of like been overdone and or just stereotypical and or offensive. Yeah, I've tried to remove a lot of like what you normally see with fantasy, just because at this point, if you want to see that sort of thing, make a D&D campaign or watch Lord of the Rings. Like, there's still plenty of examples of like traditional fantasy that you can get a taste of. But as a brief like story overview, here's like kind of like my pitch for it. After settling for a mundane life and postal work, Vivi the vampire has been hoodwinked back into her former mercenary life with the underwhelmed human princess Ada and the overdramatic android Ness in order to save Ada's kingdom and maybe even their world. And I just thought about this. So you might see that Ness, the character who's on the left in this picture provided, he's technically a robot / android, which I was inspired by Janelle Monáe for that. What are you talking about? Even though he's technically like a sci-fi aspect, majority of the story is fantasy based. So again, I would still classify my own thing as Afro fantasy more than Afrofuturism. And if anything, steampunk-ish kind of vibe, but that's yet to be seen once I develop more. But if you'd like more info, you can follow the Twitter at Wannabe Guild on Twitter, and I have a few devlogs up on my own personal website as well. But I just wanted to showcase that, like, hey, like myself, you probably have your own story that you're really excited to tell, and feel free to share it, no matter how different it is from quote-unquote normal fantasy and everything. So it should be really exciting. No more black-coded evil races. Exactly. Exactly. It's just like, that's like, aside from being offensive, it's just boring at this point to see the same thing over and over again. So I feel you on that. So just to briefly go over some of the inspirations behind it, I was inspired by Adventure Time, particularly because these characters of mine, they originally started as fan characters of Adventure Time, Codename Kids Next Door, Janelle Monáe's entire discography, but in particular Metropolis, the Chase Suite was a big one, Shaolin Showdown, and The Wiz, the film from the 1970s. As you can see, 2 of these 5 examples are not primarily Black media, but that's fine if that is the case, because as I mentioned before, Children of Blood and Bone pulled aspects from non-Black media itself, such as Harry Potter and Avatar: Last Airbender, I believe. So it's totally fine if like what you grew up with isn't all Black at all, because whatever you do make, it will have like your essence in and of itself. So that's totally fine. The Wiz is the GOAT. Yo. So what are some of the inspirations for your guys' creations? I'm really curious. We're taking our inspirations and making our own Black stories. Yep. I'm into solar punk, cottagecore, and making everything Black. Nice, nice. Can I ask why you're moving from a webtoon to a video game? Sure. Basically, it was going so slow. I'm on the 3rd chapter. And I was making a chapter a year. And then I was looking at other comic artists who are able to make at least like a lot more progress with their chapters within like half the time. So I just realized that if it's gonna take so long to make this, I'd rather make it a game. And because there's a lot of potential for it, because it's a very mercenary based world, so there's going to be a lot of battling, a lot of custom abilities like weapons, that sort of thing. And I just really like point and click adventure games, so I wanted to make my own. And I said, why not use my own story? All cartoons, yep. Folklore mythology from around the world. Yeah, I really love mythology. I like most, I started with like Greek mythology, but now I'm starting to really get into more different cultures as well. Not gonna lie, fair web comics are a commitment. Yeah. Yeah, Sim, you know the deal. All right, Denominate's entire discography. The 100 is a big inspo. Awesome. How was Code Coven? It was great. It was definitely a commitment, but not to the point where it was too difficult to complete everything. I'm sure other people can attest to that. It was challenging, but it involved a lot of working with others, and especially others in different time zones and maybe even different countries. So that was really fun and great to try to practice. I did the one, and also just so you know, they are opening a course with, I believe, Unreal, but I did the one with Unity. So yeah, Bleach and fighting games. Love badass media, but need some black people in them. Yeah, yeah. Disney, Avatar, Legend of Korra, Final Fantasy, Art Nouveau, mythology are my inspirations. Ooh, Art Nouveau, that's really cool. Mine is definitely inspired from cultural aspect of mythology, witchcraft and Steven Universe. Me with the webcomic sweating furiously. Yo, Steven Universe was a big influence on my current work as well as Pretty Cure, Persona 5 and JoJo. Awesome. Can I ask, how are you making my video game? It sounds so cool. Yeah, I'm making it with Unity, and I'm making it very, very slowly because right now I'm pretty much a one-person team, and I'm at the point now where I'm trying to like drop some concepts so that way I can bring in more people to help me, like writers, pixel artists, so on and so forth. Honestly, the big part is the money because I want to be sure I pay everyone fairly. So yeah. Wanted to create a couple webtoon based on mental health that are inspired by The Last Airbender. Steven Universe and Craigler Creek. Summer Camp Island. Basically Cartoon Network. Gotcha. Super Mario Bros. And Kirby. That's adorable. Elemental Magic. Basically Avatar and Chinese Zodiac mythology. Fullmetal Alchemist. Men in Black and the MCU have been big inspirations for me. Always the money. Valid. Yep. For sure. Yeah, so that's really awesome to hear. With all the inspirations that you have, obviously nothing can be perfect, as great as media can be. An interesting exercise is to take a look at some of your favorite media and observe how they represent different types of people and if they do it well. So, for example, one of the examples I provided earlier, I will be talking about that briefly right now, because sometimes representation misses. So Challenge Showdown is basically a show where it kind of had a Monster of the Week format where these 4 monks from around the world travel to try to find these mystical artifacts called Shingon Wu. One was American, specifically from Texas. One was Japanese, another Brazilian, and the fourth was Chinese. So that in of itself is diverse, which I found really interesting at the start. The show ran on Kids WB from 2003 to 2006. With a sequel running briefly from late 2013 to mid 2014. Now, the creator, Christy Wee, is Chinese, and Omi was the first character that she designed for the series. And I don't need to mention what the problem with Omi is. I really don't need to spell it out briefly or in too much depth, but y'all can see. There is another character who is Chinese in the series who appears similar to Omi, but there's no official explanation as to why either are highlighter yellow. Do I have a yellow highlighter around me? I thought I did. Maybe not this exact moment, but yeah. Although the creator and her main character share the same ethnicity, there isn't much reason behind this harmful stereotype at the very forefront of the show. In fact, admittedly, I do still watch this show because it is admittedly an inspiration for me, but every time I'm just kind of like, I just kind of squint and just like, why? Why? Why was it like this? Let's see. Okay, 15 minutes left. Cool. Going back and looking at old shows you used to enjoy as a jarring experience. Yes, for sure. Amanda of Hidaki. I don't know, made a Kirby game as a joke. This. Yep. Okay, so we got some Raimundo fans in the chat. Awesome. I feel seen. But yeah, definitely, even this just goes to show that even if you, as a Black person, create Black characters, there are ways to still be harmful towards your own people, basically. So just be wary and be mindful and careful. And if someone has a valid critique, just be sure to listen, because that way you can avoid something like this. um, so we're reaching the end here. And here are a few more final tips for you. Just a brief overview of like some few extra things to consider when you're making either Afro fantasy or just stories in general. Break the rules. That's yeah, just because it's been done before doesn't mean that things can't change. And aside from that, there are traditions that are point blank offensive and racist. So, as we mentioned before, orcs, I mean, if you can have orcs as they are, but you should probably change them, because the way that they've been presented thus far has been very offensive. Just in the fact that they're shown as barbarian and tribal and stupid and etc. It's just, yeah, been overdone. Put in the work. Don't simply rely on your friend's perspective. So, for example, if you are in a group of people from different backgrounds, don't just rely on that one individual to give you perspective, because one, it can be exhausting to them to constantly have to explain why certain stereotypes are offensive, and two, that's only one person. They don't like the same way we as Black people don't represent our whole race when we're in like a room. Any individual doesn't represent their whole race when they're the only person in the room and everything. So just be sure that you like put in the work, do your research, and put in the effort, because if what you have still comes off as offensive, at least it'll be more so because you missed a spot as opposed to that you didn't try, which is really harmful. Another thing to do is hire sensitivity readers. You'd be surprised at any internal biases that you can miss on yourself. I feel like in this day and age, we're trying to be more conscious of how we come off to people, and if we don't intend to be offensive, but it's just going to happen because we're human and we're not perfect. So, sensitivity readers will definitely help in making sure you can cover some of those blind spots in your story and even your character designs and everything. And lastly, it's, as I said before, it's impossible to escape bias, because we as humans are imperfect. So everything we make is going to be imperfect. But you should listen when people from the cultures you represented in your work give critiques, even if it's your own. So one example I can pull off the top of my head is the Proud Family. I haven't seen the new rendition, Louder and Prouder. I just remember that initially the creator of the Proud Family was given critiques that, like, hey, some of the aspects of the show is colorist. For example, you portray the lighter skinned people as more or less normal, but the darker skinned ones, they're not so much. So, for example, Dejanay and her whole family, and the fact that their family's named after like sauces, and then the sisters who were so ashy that they were blue, like, and in fact that the creator was interviewed on these colors aspects and he basically denied it, and it's just kind of like, okay, we're not making this up out of nowhere. So for sure. And also was going on with the peanut people. Yep, the gross sister. When I tell you I was mad that they didn't redesign her better. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. But like at the end of the day, it almost feels like it's kind of up to us in order to make more of a statement to kind of wash those kind of stereotypes under the water. So yeah, that is my presentation. Do you guys have any more questions for me? I understand it was a lot of listening to what y'all have to say, but I'm really fascinated to hear your thoughts on things. I'm very happy that you guys resonated with a lot of what I had to say. And yeah, are there any final questions? Yes, Raimundo. Yeah, he's my fave. He's the reason why I like air types so much. Admittedly, I could already assign him the state where he comes from. Lol. We are about to start dialogue about the Proud Family. Oh my goodness, that picture in the Discord chat. Oh boy. Yeah, we have at least about maybe like 12 or 10 minutes left. So thank you, Rand. You're doing amazing. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Admittedly, I was very nervous and I probably said a lot, but I'm glad that overall the content was beneficial to you all. I need to watch The Proud Family. Thanks for an interesting and insightful presentation. I enjoyed it. Yes, thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you all so much. I definitely I want to see more Afro fantasy stories. Don't just leave it to me. Y'all deserve to showcase your stories too, especially because given like what I've seen in the chat so far, you guys have a lot of cool ideas and I want to see them. Looking forward to want to be here. Oh, thank you. I think I follow Hi LO Girls either. I think are you guys wishlisted on Steam yet? Because if so, I know I follow you on Twitter, but I want to be sure I follow you on Steam too. Apparently, this name was created called Delinquinetta. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. You're working on it. Yes. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad to hear that. Hey, thought of doing a Kickstarter for your game. I am, but I'm gonna wait till I have at least a demo. And on top of that, because of all the talk about crypto with Kickstarter, I'm kind of taking a pause off of that just to be sure that whatever platform I use to crowdfund, I don't want to be a part of a platform that endorses crypto like that. So, yeah. Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh, y'all! Thank you so much. Yeah, it's not good for Kickstarter. Yeah, but again, thank y'all. Thank you guys so much for like giving your input and the inspirations for whatever you guys were working on. That's been really awesome to hear just the different formats and everything. So, oh, yes, thank you, Jasmine. I do create websites. In fact, I created hers. Ask her about it. Okay. Aren't there more sites of Kickstarter that aren't into the pyramid scheme? Probably. I just haven't done a deep dive yet. I know one. What's it called? It has like a pink branding, but I forget what it's called. Oh, Indiegogo. Yep, that's what it's called. Yep, Indiegogo. Yep. All right. Well, if you guys have any questions for me after this presentation, well, first of all, thank you. Once again, thank you. But feel free to follow me and reach out. I am at Chronotonic on both Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. On Twitch, I mainly stream art and video games. The most recent one I've been doing is playing Borderlands 3 with a buddy of mine, Murmury, who's in the chat. So check her out too. But yeah, if you like, again, I'm open to any questions whatsoever. So either DM me on Twitter, reach out to me on Instagram. I think I have my email open on one of my websites somewhere, so feel free to look at that as well. And I said before, I do websites and I draw. And if you're looking, especially if you're a webcomic artist or an artist who's looking to either have a portfolio or have a webcomic site that's free from Webtoon and Tapas, hit me up. I want to work with you. We'll have a ball. So yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yep, Patreon too. When were you gonna tell me you follow me on Twitter? I don't know. I I don't. I'm sorry. It was a wonderful presentation. Thank you for the recommendations. No, thanks goes to all of y'all, and thank you for supporting the Black Card Gala. Most importantly, they're the reason why I'm here talking to you today. They're the reason for such a great panel of discussions from Friday to today. So thank you Sim, thank you the whole Black Card Gala team and the Black Card members as a whole. So yes, thank you. Y'all are so nice. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Yes, you. Yeah, I'm excited to I know I went through the artist alley today and I got a little bit of what I wanted. So y'all be sure that you find your favorite artist in the chat and give them some love as well, either through a follow or getting their merch. So yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, that is all I have for today. And I can't wait for y'all to show me your Afrofantasy stories. Really excited. Yes, y'all.
Hey, I heard that we just switched over. Man, can y'all believe we at the end already? That's crazy! It's over! The gala's over! The weekend went by so fast! No, really, not me waking up thinking it was Saturday. Then realizing, oh no, it's Sunday. Oh no. That's okay. That's okay. It's totally okay. Well, there's so many things that can be said, but we're gonna get into it so I don't stop putting crying emojis into the chat. You cut it out. You cut it out. No more. No crying. No sads. It's okay. Everyone cry harder. Wow, I can't believe this. Not y'all trying to make me emotional. Not allowed. It's not allowed. It's not allowed. I see you guys in Twitch chat. I see you guys in the Discord chat. Man, I don't have anything written for this, so I'm going off pure vibes. Pure vibes. And the vibe right now is just full of gratefulness. It's full of love. It's full of extreme thankfulness to everyone who came, everyone who participated, either as a panelist or a speaker or a streamer or someone who, was a community, the games that were here, everyone in the Artist Alley. Can y'all believe actually we have 40-something artists here for that Artist Alley? Insane. Which I'm letting y'all know now, if you haven't gotten anything yet, you better go get it now. Go get you something. Get you a little treat to remember this day, this weekend, right? There's a lot that can be said. There's a lot that can always be said. But the main thing that definitely I want to always just say is just thank you. This community, the gala itself, would not exist without all of you guys. And that is meant wholeheartedly. It's thanks to everyone's participation, everyone's happiness, everyone's excitement, everyone's wanting to grow and learn and make new connections that we're here where we are today. BCM would absolutely be nothing without all of you. I may be the one organizing, I may be the one behind the scenes making things happen, but I wouldn't make things happen if it weren't for you guys. And it's thanks to all of y'all that we have made it into 2 years of celebrating ourselves, growing with each other, and absolutely being chaotic, because at the end of the day, y'all all are chaotic. We are all chaotic people. But you know what? One of the best things that I've seen out of every single one of you, especially y'all who are coming straight from BCM, is the amount of growth within these past 2 years. Either if you were here from the beginning, you came in somewhere around like 2021, or you're just now finding out about us here in 2022. Y'all doing the thing. And I am very, very happy to be that person to help continue to push you, continue to help you grow, continue to provide whatever necessary resources that I can to get you guys to the levels of where you want to be. That's my thing, I love seeing you guys thrive. I love seeing you guys thrive so much. Y'all have done such amazing things and will continue to do amazing things, and this gala is just one of them. The gala is just one of them. Maybe you should just eat them at all. I have no idea where that noise came from, but that was hilarious. It wasn't me, but that was funny. That was so funny. You know what? Exactly what I said. Chaos, you get that here. You get the chaos here and only here. But yeah, I wanna keep this rambling and telling y'all about how you're all awesome and amazing and everything. But I'm not gonna keep doing that. I'm actually going to allow my team. Some of them actually wanted to speak up, and I'm gonna let Sim go. I know that Sim wanted to say a few things from the heart, so you wanna skip? You're Bruh. Which one of you other ones want to go? As I said, the chaos. It starts with the team. The chaos starts with the team. So, y'all are hilarious. Michaela, would you like to say anything to the group, to the
Sure.
squad?
Drink some water. But Sim, get me something from Applebee's too. But outside of that, yes, you guys are all amazing. I know I'm like super tired, so I apologize for whatever comes out of my brain. It's empty, but you guys are so wonderful. Everybody is so talented. Yes, drink some apple juice. Get me some Applebee's. But yeah, make sure you guys are taking care of yourselves. As Sel said, it's been amazing how much you guys have done in the last 2 years, and just to see how much you guys have grown, and just to see how much you guys are succeeding. Like, it's hard. This, struggling through a pandemic and everything. Like, you guys are really getting it. So I'm proud of you. BCM Mama is proud of you. That's my words. There you go.
Thank you for the words. Not everyone in chat crying. Everyone in chat's crying. Shippy, do you want to say anything? I know Ship's here.
Yeah, you sound alright.
Yes, you do.
Okay. Alright, hello, lovelies. I hope you're all staying nice and warm out there, alright? Well, it's the second year completed. How you guys all feeling?
They're crying.
Oh, don't cry, babies. But time flies. Weekend went like a blink of an eye. But I really hope you all enjoyed yourself this weekend, honestly. I sure enough had a blast. Just watching all the streams for the panelists, the speakers, the artists, just giving it their all. And just a shout out to all the lovelies, just putting all this hard work into just this whole entire weekend and this event. You guys gave it your all. And I'm glad to see you guys all had fun. And just make sure to go give a follow to all the wonderful panelists, artists, speakers, all of them, because we just have a bunch of creative talents all around. It's just so nice seeing everyone showing off their work, and But yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Okay. Sam, are you still ordering Applebee's? Yay. Damn, okay. I mean, mission already accomplished. Jeez. I'm already crying. It's fine. Oh my god, like, listen, how much more do you want from me? Oh man, you guys make me so emotional all the time. And sometimes it's happy emotions, and sometimes it's like, why are you guys like this emotions? Oh man. Alright, well again, I really just wanted to take the time again to say like thank you to everybody for coming, for participating, for being a part of the community, for supporting the community and all that. I can't like shout out like every single person, which, you know, it happens. It's fine. There's so many of you guys, and the fact that I can say that there's so many of you guys is insane to me. Like over 300 something signups this year for the gala. Crazy. So many of y'all. That's insane. That's wallin'. And I see a bunch of people saying Black Card Gala live when in person. I don't know. Talk to Rona. Maybe we'll figure it out one day. But really quickly, I do want to shout out like a few people, like our community booths. Very big thank you to Code Coven, Grinding Coffee Co., Noir Network, Sprout, Wildstar Press, and also Black Gamer Girl Code as well, for all being participating communities. It does take a village, you know, to build each other, and the fact that there are other communities also supporting us as well is simply amazing. It is very, very amazing, and I am extremely thankful to have other communities supporting us. But not just that, thank you to the game showcase. So all the games that were there: High Elo Girls, Bell Automata, Skate and Date, Spirit Swap, Validate, Trailer Tales. Thank you guys for being the first games showcased in our game showcase. It was amazing having you guys participate. I hope like hell y'all got some more wish lists from this, and y'all better go wish list every single game. No, I need you to listen to me. Go wish list every single game that is in that game showcase right now. Right now. You go and wishlist every single game, follow every single social media account that's posted up there, and you go support those games right now. There are amazing devs behind those games that you need to be supporting. And outside of that, I can't get through every single one. You know what? I'm gonna try to anyways. Let's try to get through that artist alley. Right now, because we got the time, and I will make sure that y'all hear about every single artist that's there right now. Let's freaking go. I'm pulling up the names. We are pulling up the names right now. Let's go. So thanks. I'm gonna go down the list. I don't care. Let's go. So thank you, Art Girl Momo, Artist Trace, Art Tragedy, Art Woes, B. Nicole Lewis, Bunny Waves, Bunny Oku, Carmen Art, DPC Art, Ember Works, Aaron McDowell, Galactic Guts, Galacticer. If I say I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I'm going off the vibes. Geeklicious, Gently Made Plush, Hakuna Yatatas. That's a funny one. I like that one. Iconography, Jasmine O. Simone, Chronic Tonic, Koi Doodles, Lily Char, Magic Bean Shop, Midi Mayo, Mushki, Nia Draws, Nia K Sketch, Non-Binary Center, Pan Sheeps, which is also just Shib, who's one of our mods, Peachy Seas, Pen Surfing, Puri Tears, Real Satirovsky, Space Jam Cam Art, Sunset Forks, Surin Licious Art, Van Nugrox, Vexingly Yours, Walter HP, Wish Grub, and Zab Wish. You guys are all amazing. That is all 40 artists that was represented in our Artist Alley this year. Thank y'all again so much for coming out, showing out, putting all stuff out there. If you have not bought from any of these Artist Alleys, what are you doing? They got amazing stuff. Check them out. I am so appreciative for them not only just making their booth look good, but also having stuff to give us. Art is a luxury, and they continue to provide a whole lot. A whole lot. Definitely go and check them all out. Go follow them right now. They're all amazing. You're not gonna want to miss what they all got still planned for the future. And I want to keep going, but man, I feel like I'm running out of breath. But also, again, thank you again to all of our streamers, and all of our speakers and panelists. Y'all were all amazing. I'm so happy that we had such amazing talks. All those talks were great. From being Black in the industries, from learning about streaming, from talking about art school, learning about Afrofantasy, learning about pixel art. All of that was so good and cool. And we're gonna do it again next year. We will be doing this again. Absolutely. We've learned so much, didn't we? We learned a lot. We learned so much. We will absolutely be doing it again. And I know people are seeing my mouse on the screen. I'm so sorry. Yeah, a lot really went into the gala. There are a few people who aren't here right now, that are on our team, such as like Apple, Julie, E. They're here in spirit. Some of them are either resting right now or at work, but just know that they also have been putting in the work, so make sure you also send them love. Big thank you to Julie, who helped let all of y'all in, along with the help of Koi and Gigi, who helped let all y'all in for this event. Big old love for Julie. Big thank you to E, who helped manage our social media and get those posts out so everybody knew to show up, post up, come support you guys. And then, as always, a huge big thank you to Apple, who is our graphic designer and made all the graphics for us. We would not have the iconic BCM logos and stuff, the Black Card Gala graphics, if it wasn't for Apple. It absolutely takes a whole team, and if it was not for my team, I would not be functioning properly, because everybody knows that I'm doing 110 things at once, and it's thanks to them that I'm able to do all the things that I'm able to do. And I want to keep rambling, but if I keep rambling, then you guys are going to make me emotional again. And you know, I don't want to do that. I don't want to keep being emotional. You guys can't keep making me sad. You gotta cut it out. Stop it. You can't keep making me cry. You gotta cut it out. No, you gotta cut it out. No. Not you guys saying yes, do it. I can't believe this. I'm looking at all the comments in chat. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are amazing. I tell you guys this all the time. All the time. And I mean it. I do mean it. But yeah, that's it. This is the end of the gala. As always, if you are one of if you are a person of color who is into creativity and such, or if you want to explore your skills, explore your choices, and all that good stuff, as always, you are completely free to join BCM. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we don't do open server weekends anymore. It's just open. BCM is just open. So if you want to come in and say hey, all that good stuff, we here. We popping. We doing stuff. And the gala will be back next year, 2023. However, there's a twist. The gala will be back, but next time, in the summer. The Black Card Gala will be coming back 2023 in the summer. So instead of during our anniversary time, we'll be doing something else around our anniversary, but we'll be coming back 2023 in the summer, giving you guys a lot more time to prepare. We'll be able to have a lot more to do, a much bigger event, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great. The Black Card Gala will now start to be featured during Black Card Summer, which will still be happening this year. All right, guys. That's enough for me. That's all I really had to say. And that's it. Love you all. Thank you guys so much, not just for supporting me, but also supporting the community. And I can't wait for next year.